I'm John Van Auken, and I'm one of the directors here. And been read my first Cayce book when I was 16. My father was a naval officer and was stationed here, and I had just gotten my driver's license, so I got in the car, drove down to the beach to look for the A.R.E. In those days, they never put anything in the books, so you never knew where the place was. Honestly, this was a long time ago, you guys. Anyway, I drove down here and I thought the Cavalier Hotel was the A.R.E. and they had gone out of business. You know, the big hotel on the hill? And so I thought, well, that's too bad. So I drove back home, but it must not have been time. And I went off to college and the Navy. And one time the professor asked us to write on a mystery. I was majoring in English, particularly writing, and so my mother had told me the story of Bridie Murphy. Some of you are old enough to know that story, some not. She was a woman who remembered a past life vividly. In fact, it came through her in the brogue, and all this being St. Patty's Week, that seems timely. And so I went into the library and I looked at the book, and sure enough, the author mentions Edgar Cayce, and I went, 4 years ago I read that book. And so I got Many Mansions, Gina Sermonara. That was the second book. The first book was Sleeping Prophet. So, oh man, that blew me away, and I said, I got this, professor, because this is a mystery. And I wrote, and sure enough, got an A, and he wrote on the paper, "See me after class." And we chatted and all. It was very good. And from then on, just kept reading the books, and eventually I transferred from the University of Florida up to William and Mary to be closer to the A.R.E. And used to come down here on weekends and all, and I was doing all that great yoga study, breathing techniques, meditation. Oh man, I was meditating 3 times a day, 2 a.m. meditations, all the stuff Cayce was doing, and dream study, et cetera, and really getting into it. And as the years went by, I noticed Cayce was actually guiding seekers, spiritual seekers, in a way that was not so much the techniques, the methods. And one night I had a dream in which Edgar Cayce came to me in the dream. Now, I had been really applying myself and really tuned in, so I wasn't surprised to attract his attention. He was in a swimsuit. And he said, "Come on, I want to show you something." I was in full street clothes. So I walk with him, and I notice we're walking in a pool up to my knees. And of course, he's in a swimsuit. I'm in street shoes and socks. So, okay, what do you want to show me? And there's a ledge that goes down into much deeper water in the dream. He dives in. I thought, well, am I going to stand here? Or this is Edgar Cayce. I'm going. I dive in, street clothes and all, and I'm swimming down deep. We go down really deep. And we come against a wall. And on this wall is a mandala and a dial, a very fascinating, complex dial with all sorts of details. And I just loved that because that's kind of the way I had been applying everything. And Edgar looked at me and said, "Which one?" I looked and I said, "Oh, the dial." And he went, and he touched the mandala and went right through the wall. And I thought, oh, God, I'm fascinating or captured or possessed too much by details and this and that and the mechanics. I've got to get more into the spirit of it, the mandala idea. But I couldn't go through because you could only make one choice at that time. So I determined in my heart, the very next time he asked me that question, I'll know the answer. And as the years went by, of course, that improved my the spiritual growth, soul growth. And I could have come to you today with all sorts of wonderful meditation techniques, altered states of consciousness, dream study, intuitive techniques. But actually, I've come with something that's even more valuable. It's truly the keys to heaven and eternal happiness and life. And that is shifting from the law of karma to grace and all the fruits of the Spirit associated with it. You start applying that in your life, and I have to tell you, I had to have been 20 years into this work before I realized this. Really, honestly. That actually love and the fruits of the Spirit were the more powerful transformative elements of soul growth than all my cool breathing techniques, meditation, attunement, intuition, psychic development, dream study. And at the time, my life was such that I had many opportunities to apply the fruits of the Spirit, if you know what I mean. Hugh Lin used to say, challenges are actually opportunities. Well, I had a lot of opportunities at the time. And I saw the power of these subtle things. And as we go through the PowerPoint today, you're going to see that the reason they're called the fruits of the Spirit is because the essence of the Spirit is in these things. And if you assimilate these, the seeds bring forth the Spirit. And that the Spirit of these is the Spirit of the Creator. These are qualities of the Creator. So as you assimilate these, you become more one with the Creator. Now, this is a mental shift for me because you see, at the time, the Creator was the infinite universal consciousness, the higher vibes that I was attuning to. Do you understand? Using techniques and the dial. Now, I was trying to be in the essence of love, kindness, patience all day with everyone in every way, even moi, which required a lot of patience. And that was actually bringing me closer to the essence of the Creator that I had been abiding in through other techniques. So you really have chosen well to come here this morning and look at this stuff, because these are the keys to it all. From karma to grace, the power of the fruits of the Spirit. Now, this is Edgar Cayce's material that I have put together for us and have studied and applied myself. The number one reading associated with this is 2800-2. As one sets itself to accomplish that which is of a creative nature, as opposed to a destructive nature, no longer is the entity under the law of cause and effect, or karma, but rather in grace. You see the shift there. We're going to study this in more detail, but the key to come away with is when you get up and go toward life in a creative manner, bringing creativity, wanting to create, wanting to be positive, uplifting, enhancing growth, rather than critical, suppressing, putting down, destroying, harming with words. And then when you get deeper, Cayce says with thoughts. And he taught that every thought we have makes an impression on the collective. Now, I was warped for over a year with that thought because I thought back over all the years and all the thoughts, even in my marriage and my parenting, the thoughts, the negative thoughts, and I had to start shifting that. So keep in mind, the power here is when you shift from judgmentalism, suppression or criticism into seek the positive, seek the virtues, focus on the virtues of another person, of a situation, rather than the weaknesses and the vices, boy, you move into the creative power and you move into the power of grace.